Welcome guys to peacarma stitches. Today we're going to be making this beautiful two-piece with ruched waists. Okay, have you seen how beautiful this is on me? Okay, so if you're interested in this, let's get right into class. So we're going to be using 3 yards of Ankara print. I'll advise for a plus size, please use 4 yards. Okay, I was actually managing my fabric. I have this paper stay, 3 yards of Ankara print, and 2 elastic threads. So let's get into the full tutorial. So I have my fabric folded into two. We're going to be cutting the upper part first, and we're going to be cutting the back part first, the back part of the upper part. Okay, the length I have here is 31 inches for the top part plus hemming allowance. So at this folded part, the back is on fold. I'm going to be marking 3 inches for my neck width, and then the full width I have here is 17 inches. Please, for a plus size, if you want the sleeve length to be as long as what you saw on the thumbnail, please do up to 22 inches, okay, or 25. I'm actually managing these 3 yards. I advise you do 4 yards, okay, for a plus size. So at this open part, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I connected to the 3 inches neck width. Sorry, my chalk is not really visible, but I just made a similar tutorial on the channel, okay? So from this, my 1 inch shoulder slope, I hope you can see this. From this 1 inch shoulder slope, I'm going to be marking down the sleeve opening, and I'm going to be doing 11 inches. So for a plus size, you can do 11, you can do 12. So I'm going to be marking, connecting that 11 inch into a straight line, and automatically it becomes my bust point, okay? So I'm marking it as well to get a straight line, and I'm going to connect this. So please, if you want exactly what you have on the thumbnail for a plus size like myself, please do 4 inches for both the top and the lower part, okay? But for a slim person, 3 inches should be fine. I was actually managing this fabric, okay? So you're going to be marking your under bust point even at the back part, okay? I'm marking my under bust measurement, which is 15.5, and I'm connecting that into a straight line. It's very important. We need this under bust point. Now from my under bust, I'm going to be marking down 7 inches. That's where my ruching is going to be stopping. I'm going to be smoking from my under bust to this 7 inches point. We're not marking our waistline. I hope you understand. We're marking from under bust 7 inches below your under bust. That's what we're marking there. And then we have the full length of the dress. So at this sleeve opening part, you can mark your bust measurement divided by 4. You can go ahead and add 4 or 5 inches to it. But since I'm managing my fabric, I added just 3 inches. Okay, and I'm going to be taking that 3 inches all the way to the hem. Now, if you have enough fabric to play around with, you're just going to add 5 inches to it and take the 5 inches all the way to the hem of the top to have a fuller lower part. After smoking the waist, your under bust to where your smoking stops, the lower parts will really come out full. But since I'm managing this fabric, I'm just taking what I have straight down. I hope this is understood. Then I'm going to carve out this armhole point to connect my sleeve. The last tutorial I just uploaded, I did a similar tutorial, so you can go and look at that if this marking is not really clear, but I really hope this is understandable. So go ahead and connect this properly, and we're done with that part. So the next thing we're going to be marking here is my neck width. I'm going to be using 4 inches for my neck width, okay? And the neck depth for the back, I'm going to be doing, let's say, I'll just do 1.5 inches, okay? I don't want it to be too low, okay? So 1.5 inches is perfect, okay? So that's it. The neck width 4 inches, the neck depth 1.5 for the back, and the back is on fold. Okay, then go ahead and cut this out. So thank you guys. I want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to you guys for the new subscribers that just subscribed, those that have been watching our tutorials so far. I really, really appreciate you. Encourage me a lot to go out to buy fabric, do editing and all. I really appreciate. Please kindly share. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you. I'm really grateful. So this is it for the back. We're going to go ahead now and fold to cut out our front piece. So my fabric is on fold. Now ensure the piece you're using for the front is actually bigger, wider, okay, than the back because of the button allowance, okay. It should have minimum 2 inches, okay, at the front. So I'm going to bring in my back piece, lay it over this other front piece. Can you see what we have? So at this folded part, ensure you have nothing less than 2 inches, okay? Unless you want to make your button overlap bigger, but 2 inches is just fine. But I used 1.5 inches, okay? But have minimum 2 inches for your button overlap. Can you see what I have here? I have 2 inches all the way down, okay? Then ensure the sides are well aligned. And then I'll go ahead and trim the same thing just to make the front and the back equal. Okay, this is a very simple and straightforward tutorial. Just go ahead and trim off the sleeve. It's the same thing. It's a cut together sleeve. Just ensure it's well aligned, okay, and the sides is going to be the same thing. The only difference between the front and the back is the v-neck in front, the button overlap, okay, but every other thing, the length is the same thing, and I'm using 31 inches plus hemming allowance for the front. So go ahead and cut it and you're done. So what we're going to be doing next for this our front piece, I'm going to be marking out my 1.5 inches. But before that, go ahead and notch this your under bust line and then the 7 inches you came down by from your waistline. You can do 6, but maximum should be 7 inches, okay? So notch it for both the front piece and the back piece. This will guide us when we're doing our smoking, okay, but you can still measure from shoulder to under bust after joining, but I did this notch just to verify later, okay. So can you see I've gone ahead to notch my under bust and the 7 inches mark. So what I'm going to be doing next now, I'm going to go ahead and mark my 1.5 inches, okay. I want to use 1.5 inches for my button overlap. So I'm marking that all the way. You can do 2 inches, okay, it's optional, but I feel 1.5 is just perfect for button overlap, okay. And remember this back part is on fold. So when you open this up, you're going to have 2 front pieces. So I'm marking this for the both pieces. I hope it's clear enough. So go ahead and connect. I'm using 1.5, and after doing that, kindly mark where your 4 inches is, okay. The neck width has to align, the front neck width and the back neck width has to align. So I'll go ahead and take out the front piece now, the back piece, sorry, so you can go ahead and cut the front neckline. So before cutting the front neckline, I'm going to mark out my 1.5 inch for button overlap from that half inch I took out earlier. Remember I had 2 inches, I marked out half inch because I wanted to use 1.5. So I'm going now to mark my accurate 1.5 inches now. Now fold it inwards the way you see me do. Can you see what I'm doing? Fold your 1.5 inch button overlap inward before cutting out your neck depth. So from the shoulder, I'm going to be marking 8 inches for my neck depth for the front. Okay, you can make yours deeper or you can use 5 or 6 inches, but I used 8 inches. Connect it to your 4 inches neck width. Now after doing this, while your fabric is still folded inwards, Okay, while it's still folded inwards, go ahead and cut out your neck depth. Can you see what we have? Now this is why I folded this. When you bring this out, this is what you have. This will help you to cut out this front part equally. One part won't be longer than the other. Can you see what we have? So go ahead now and cut out that 1/2 inch that we marked out earlier in order to have your 1.5 inches. Okay, if you're using 1.5 like myself. So when you open this up, this is what you're going to have. You're going to be having two front pieces. And because of that fold, everything is laying equally. So you're going to go ahead and fold 1/4 inch, and then you fold in 1 inch or 1.2. Okay, that's what's going to be left. Whatever is left, go ahead and use that for your button overlap. Okay, that's what we have for the front. Now we're going to go ahead and cut out our facing. So I have this fabric folded into two. I'm going to be using this to cut out both the front and back facing. Okay, now it's on a fold of two, just as the front is in two. We're going to open it up. The facing is not going to be folded. Okay, but for now it's on fold. So go ahead and trace out the exact same thing. Okay, make sure the center part is laying flat. Trace out the exact same thing that you have at the neck and at the shoulder point. Just look at what I'm doing and do the exact same thing. So when you're done, you lift out your main fabric. Now, the depth of my facing for this inner part, I'm going to be marking 3 inches. Okay, for the depth, and then at the shoulder part I'm going to be marking 3 inches as well. So it's 3 by 3. So go ahead and connect it the way you see me do, and then open the center up. Remember, the front part is opened up, it's not unfold. So go ahead and slit it open and cut out your facing. If you want your facing to be bigger than this, fine, but remember, we're going to be folding our button overlap, so 3 inches is just perfect. And we're done with the facing for the front. So when you're going to lay this is what you're going to have. Can you see what we have? Simple as that. And we're done. We're going to go ahead and cut the back. The back is on fold, so your facing has to be on fold. You won't need to open this. Ensure the center part is well aligned, okay, with your facing. Go ahead and trace out the neckline and the shoulder, just like we did for the front. So the neck width has to be the same thing. I'm using 3 inches for the neck width of the facing, but for the neck depth for the back, I did 3 inches as well, 3 by 3. So you can decide to make yours deeper or you can do less for the back, okay? But I still made use of 3 by 3, okay? So when we're done with the back facing, this is what we have. When you lay it on your back fabric, this is what you're going to have. So beautiful and easy. Okay, so what we're going to do next is to add our hairstay. Okay, our soft paper stay to all of this facing for them to have some more structure. Okay, when you open this up, this is how you're going to place this. Right sides of the facing the right sides of your fabric. Okay, you're going to stitch the neck width with 1/4 inch, flip it over and top stitch. We'll do same for our front piece, but make sure you add hairstay, okay, your soft stay, to the facing for it to have more structure. Okay, so I'm trying to show us what I mean again. These have soft paper stay, that's what I'm going to be using, not the hard one. Okay, Now you're going to be adding this facing, cut 1.5 inch facing paper stitch, sorry, and add to this your button allowance point, okay, and also add it to your facing. But you're going to sew your facing first. Just place it the way you see me do, right sides facing each other. Sew up the neckline, flip it, top stitch, sew the button overlap and flip it over. Now this is what I mean, okay? This is what we have here. For the back, can you see how neat this is? Can you see? I added my facing. Make sure you weave or hem the lower part of your facing, okay? Now for our front piece, I've gone ahead to iron down my button overlap. Can you see how beautiful this is looking? I've gone ahead to sew. Can you see after sewing this, your neckline and top stitching, you sew down a bit at the neckline, then fold in 1/4 inch. Can you see what I folded in? After folding that in, you fold in 1 inch or whatever you have left for your button overlap. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to your sewing machine, flip it over to the right side and stitch it down neatly, a straight stitch to keep it in place, okay? So I've gone ahead to do that. Let me show us what we have. Can you see what we have? Make sure everything is equal and well aligned. I really hope you understand what I just did. Can you see? I went to my sewing machine and I stitched it. Now for your facing, you can decide to use your hemming gum, lay it under between your facing and your main fabric to keep your facing in place. Can you see what we have? Our neckline is coming out beautifully well. So bring in your back piece. You're going to lay them right sides facing each other. You're going to be using your facing to turn the shoulders, okay? Make sure they are well aligned. Flip it over like this. Join the shoulders, the both shoulders. When you're done, go ahead and open up your sleeve and hem it, okay? With 1/4 inch and 1 inch, and then go ahead and shape the sides. You can use 1/2 inch to shape the sides. So I've gone ahead to do all of that. I've joined my shoulders, okay, and I've shaped the sides, and this is what we have, okay. So what we're going to do next is you're going to mark your shoulder to on the bust measurement. For me it's 15.5. So go ahead and mark that point. You're going to be marking on the right side of your fabric because we're going to be smoking on the right side of the fabric. So I'm marking the same thing on the other part. Remember your front piece is open, so it will be easy for you to open it up and do your smoking. If you want a detailed tutorial on how to smoke a fabric perfectly, you let me know in the comments section, okay? But I didn't show us this part because I didn't want this tutorial to be too long. So from that, your underbust, go ahead and mark down your 7 inches like we did earlier. Whatever I'm doing here, I'm repeating it at the other side of my front piece. Now remember this marking you're doing, you're going to be marking this all the way to the back because we're smoking even to the back of your fabric. Still the underbust at the back, okay, and the 7 inches from the underbust. So I'm connecting this into a straight line. I want this to be straight. So if you have a fabric pen, you can use that so it can easily go off when you're done. So from my underbust point, I'm going to be marking 1/2 inch, half, half, all the way to that 7 inches. Now when smoking, I'm going to be smoking on this 1/2 inch line, okay? So if for your smoking, you're wheeling the elastic thread underneath, okay, your sewing machine, and then your normal thread is going to be at the upper part, okay. Please, if you want a detailed tutorial, let me know. I'll do that for us. Anything for you. Anything good, okay. So I'm connecting this. Ensure these lines align at the center. We want to have a neat work, okay. I'm aligning them the 1/2 inch. I'm marking them on both sides so that they align. You don't want one line to be lower or higher than the other one, okay. So I'm taking my time to explain this so you can understand. Mark half of an inch, and then you're going to open up this fabric and mark the same thing you marked in front at the back, so you can have a straight line. Okay, so this is my elastic thread. I'm going to open it up. Okay, you're going to be smoking on this line. Please do not smoke from your button allowance. No, skip your button overlap. Okay, where you sewed your thread on the button overlap, you're going to start smoking from that thread line, not on your button overlap. Okay, so that your buttons can lay flat and your buttons will not be stretching. Okay, do not sew from the button overlap itself. Skip the button overlap. From where you have that thread, sew from there all the way to the back and back to the front. Can you see? This is what I mean. Open your fabric up, open up your seam allowance. Okay, you have to lay your seam allowance flat on both sides. Okay, and do the same marking of half of an inch on the back. Just connect the lines from the front all the way to the other side of the front, from the side to the back all the way to the other side of the front, to where your thread stops. Please don't sew into your button overlap. I'll quickly do this and then I'll show us what I have. So can you see this knit work? Oh, I wish I had enough fabric. Please, I will advise you do 3.5 or 4 yards of fabric, okay, to have a fuller result. Can you see what I have here? I had to smoke in between my half-inch line because I really needed it to be more smoked. Can you see what I have left? So I used just one elastic thread and I've hemmed the lower part. So this is what we have. This is so beautiful. Okay, please give this video a thumbs up if you watched up to this point. So the next thing to do is to go ahead and mark your button, where you're going to be fixing your button and your buttonhole. So 3 inches difference, and then you're going to leave minimum 5 inches at the lower part because the lower part wasn't, there was no button all the way to the end. Okay, so fix from your v-neck 3 inches difference from each button, and then you stop 5 inches before the hem of your top. Can you see the back? Can you see this? So let's go ahead and cut our shirts. So for my shorts, I have my fabric folded into two. I was actually managing now, so I couldn't have a fold. I had to slit this in two to get my front. Now the length of this front piece, okay, after subtracting my waistband, I have 27 inches plus hemming allowance. And then the width here, what I have on fold here, sorry, it's not on fold, what I have here is 16 inches. Okay, I'll tell you how I got about this. This, you're going to divide your hip by 4, and whatever you have for your crotch extension, divide your hip divided by 4 again into 4. For instance, my hip divided by 4 is 11.5. Divide 11.5 by 4 inches again to have your crotch extension, then 1 inch sewing allowance. That's what I marked here. That's what will guide you to get the fabric on fold. Now, I'm subtracting 2 inches from the top here for my waistband. From there, I'm going to be marking my waist to hip, which is 9 inches for me. And then to my crotch depth, my crotch is hip divided by 4. I added 1 inch for ease. Then to get your tie, come down from your crotch by 3 inches. Okay, it works for everybody. That's how you get your tie. I hope you understand. Subtract your 2 inches waistband, mark from your waist to hip, and from your hip to get your crotch, divide your hip by 4. Since I didn't want this short to be too short on me, I decided to be too tight on me, sorry. I decided to add 1 inch to my hip divided by 4. Then I came down by 3 inches from my crotch points to get my thigh measurement. So still subtracting my waistband 2 inches, I'm going to mark the full length of this short, which is 27 inches. 1.5 inch is for hemming allowance. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do at this my hip point, I'm going to be marking my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. Okay, and I've added my 1 inch. I'm going to take this measurement all the way. I'm marking the same thing at my crotch point. I'm marking the same thing on the waistline. Okay, go ahead and extend this into a straight line. I marked it as well on my tie line. Okay, so go ahead and extend this into a straight line. I wish I had lifted up my top to show you guys the fit of this short on me. The back, the front was sitting pretty. Okay, so kindly use this formula, you really appreciate it. Okay, so after marking this at your crotch point, you're going to divide your round hip measurement by 4. After having that, divide what you have again by 4. So for me, I have 2.8 and I'm marking that from this my crotch line. Okay, and then go upwards by 1 inch at that angle to have a good curve. Go ahead and curve this out. Please, if anything is not clear to you, let me know in the comments. Okay, now to get your thigh measurements, you can sit down, measure your round thigh and divide your thigh by 2. Divide your thigh by 2, okay, not 4, and then you mark it here and connect it in a slanted manner to your crotch extension, or you go inwards by 2 inches on your thigh line and connect it to your crotch extension, which was what I did. I went inwards by 2 inches on my crotch line and connected it to my thigh, and I just took that measurement all the way to the hemline. If you want your leg, the leg part to be wider, you can just make it straight. Okay, if you don't want to shapen it, you saw how shaped, sorry, it was on me. If you don't want it too shapy, okay, just take what you have at your crotch extension all the way straight to the hem. Now at the waist, I'm marking from this line, I'm marking my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch sewing allowance, and I connected it in a slanted manner to meet my hip point, and that's all. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Please, if it was too fast for you, you don't understand it, please kindly let me know in the comments. But I think it's understandable enough and it's well explained. But if you do not understand, please let me know in the comment section. Okay? So just go ahead and cut your waistline, just your waistline, and we're done with the front. Okay? I'm going to go ahead now and align the lower parts, and then we'll go ahead and fold to cut our back piece. So I have my fabric folded into 2 for the back. Ensure what you have for the back is wider, minimum 4 inches bigger than the fabric you folded for the front piece. Okay? Now, when bringing in your front to place on the back, ensure you have allowance at the crotch extension, at the top part here, and at this inner part. Very important. Okay? All those 3 points, make sure you have allowances there. Now, from this crotch line, you see where the front stopped? I'm going to mark inwards 2 inches at that point. Okay? From where your front crotch is. And then at the back piece, from where the waist is, I'm going to replace that 2 inches. Okay, so we don't run short. I'm replacing back that 2 inches. Now at this point where I came inwards by 2, I'm marking 1.5 inch and I'll connect it in a slanted manner to meet these 2 inches I came out by. Now if you have a bigger butt, you can do 2 inches, but I came up by 1.5, which is just perfect. So kindly slant it the way you see me do, connect it to that 2 inches. Okay, can you see what we have? Connect it. So this will help your butt to sit perfectly and the shorts will sit perfectly on your back. So go ahead at this point and add that same 2 inches all the way to the hem. Okay, now towards the knee, I'm going to reduce it at the crotch, sorry, at the thigh line. I reduced it to 1.5. Then at the leg path, I reduced it to 1 inches. As you keep going down, keep reducing it. At the waist to the hip, I marked 2 inches. At the thigh, I marked 1.5. At the hem of the short, I marked 1 inch. I hope it's clear. Then for the back crotch, go ahead and mark your front crotch, extend it out, and I'm going to come down by half of an inch for our back crotch. Now the back crotch is going to be lower than the front crotch by half of an inch. And I'm going to be marking 2 inches. I'm adding 2 inches to my back crotch, connecting from where the front crotch started. Okay, so now I'm going to lift out the front short, and see the way I'm connecting this. Connect it to meet this 2 inch mark you came inwards by. Just watch what I'm doing. To the half inch I came inwards by, just connect, and this is our back crotch. Don't make it too deep, please. Okay, so this is what we have. The back crotch note is lower by half of an inch. Now at that point, I'm going to mark that same 2 inch, okay, and then I'll slant it to my tie line. Don't let this line extend beyond your tie line. Just slant it the way you see me do to the 2 inches you extended the back crouch by, and we are done. Okay, let me explain this again. I came inwards by 2 inches from the front crotch, and then I replaced the 2 inches at the back. Okay, I replaced the 2 inches at this point. I marked 2 inches down. At my thigh, I reduced to 1.5. At the hem, I reduced to 1 inch. Now the back crotch is lower by half of an inch, and I extended the back crotch by 2 inches from the front crotch, and I went ahead to connect it, and do not make it too deep. Okay, now after doing that, go ahead and connect it in this slanted manner, and you're done with the back. So you go ahead and cut this out. Please, if this is still not clear, just let me know in the comment section. Okay, so just go ahead and cut out the back piece. You lift it up and then follow the crotch you just extended and cut this all the way. Remember, the back crotch is lower by half of an inch than the front crotch. Okay, and then go ahead and cut every other part. I'm taking my time to cut this out, so you see the parts where I'm cutting. 2 inches from the waist to the hip. On the thigh, I reduced it to 1.5. At the hem of the short, I reduced it to 1 inch. And then the length is the same thing. And that's it for the back. Please kindly give this video a thumbs up if you watched up to this point, okay? And subscribe. Thank you. So we're done. Can you see what we have here? So go ahead and separate the front from the back. The next thing we're going to do is this. We're going to join only the front crotch, okay? Now front. So this is our back. So sew your front, just the front crotch by half of an inch, the way you see me marking, okay? Do not join the back, just the front crotch. I'll do that and show us what we have. So after joining the front crotch, okay, I want to show us, now I want to show us another method of shaping your shorts perfectly. Can you see what we have after joining just the front crotch, okay? So you're going to bring in your back piece, and you're going to lay them right sides facing each other, just on the hip part. Do not join the crotch part, just place it the way you see me do. Can you see? Right sides facing each other. This will help you to shape your trousers properly. And then you're going to shape it straight down. Place this other part as well, right sides facing each other, and you're going to shape it. Now, this is the method I use most of the time. So from where you did your joining on the front part, you can measure your waist divided by 4. Let me show you guys a sample of what I mean. From your crotch joining for the front, mark your waist divided by 4. Can you see the allowance you have? And then when you place this over, you note what you had, then you're going to follow that to shape your hip point from that joining, your hip divided by 4. Can you see what we have there? Okay, you're going to follow that marking. You're going to mark it here, shape both sides. So after shaping and you open it up, it will look funny, but never mind. Can you see what we have? The both sides. Now flip them like this, the way you see me do. Align the crotch part. This is when you're going to sew the crotch. Align it this way, and then go ahead and shapen your crotch. Now to have a reconfirmation if what you shaped will actually fit, you can still measure from this point. From this waist joining from the sides, you can still mark your hip divided by 4 and shape. So after joining the crotch, it looks like a skirt, a funny skirt. But never mind, I'll show us how to flip this. Hold the two sides together and turn it the way you see me do. Okay, now when you do this, can you see what we have? Perfectly shaped. Can you see this? It's as simple as that. Try this method and let me know what you have. Now go ahead and fold the lower part, 1/4 inch and then 1 inch. Okay, after folding that, align the front crouch with the back crouch. Very important. Make sure those joining lines are matching. And then you shape from the center to the hem. After hemming the lower part, shape the other side the same way. Okay, I'll show us what we have now. So these are perfect, beautiful shirts. Can you see the hem? I've hemmed this boldly and neatly. Kindly give this video a thumbs up if you haven't. Even without ironing just yet, can you see what we have? And it's perfectly shaped. Can you see the hip and the waist? Now this is our back. You can see the difference, okay? This will help it to sit perfectly. So try this method and let me know how yours comes out. So the next thing is to attach our waistband, and I'll attach zipper to this shirt, okay? So I had to join fabrics to make up my waistband. I told you guys I was managing, okay? So make sure what you have is enough to go around your waist plus zipper allowance. Now I have 4.5 inches, okay? I'll add my paper stay to this, and then when I'm done adding that, I'm going to fold this into 2 and I'll attach it to my shirt. Now make sure you open up one side, the left hand side of your shirt, okay? That's where you're going to be fixing your waistband from. And when you're done, open down some more, okay? Like 8 inches more. Okay, that's where you're going to be fixing your zipper. So from there, I'll attach my waistband, fix in my zipper, and you saw the end result on me. Thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. Till I see you in our next tutorial. Bye-bye.